Hey everyone, welcome back to another one of our monthly market reviews. We are talking very in depth about all the things that are happening in the Arizona real estate market, deep diving into the March numbers, what's happening going forward into April. If you're in it for the long haul, you want the details, you want to go deep into the numbers, you're in the right video. Okay, let's launch right in. Okay, you should be seeing our April 26th Arizona real estate market factoids. These are the numbers, the things that have happened. Remember, these are March's numbers. So we're talking about them in April, but March just finished. So that's what we're talking about here. All right. I want to, as a reminder, we talk about this not every video, but quite frequently. I want to remind you how some of these numbers are factored. So for example, the first two numbers on the left, we've got our supply number, we've got our inventory number. Everybody says, why are those numbers different? Why aren't they equaling out to be the same? Well, here's just the refresher course for why they're a little bit different. So they are both numbers that measure like how many houses we have to sell, but they're both done in different time frames. Okay, so the supply number is actually the last 30 days. So for example, if we didn't put any more houses on the market, these are the amount of houses that sold. How long would it take us for, like, right now, how many months would it take us to sell off everything that we have on the market? Right now, it would take us about just shy of 4 months, 3.9 months. Okay, that number went down because last month when we talked about it, it was 4.3 months for us to be able to sell everything off that was gone. Now, inventory number, this one is kind of over the long term. So supply short term, annualized is inventory. Okay, that's why the numbers read just a little bit differently. And really, the inventory number is very interesting. That looks at the whole past 300 and, the year's worth of days. And so this is how many days? Same exact kind of idea. Like if we didn't add anything more to the marketplace right now, how many days would it take us to sell off everything that we had? It's 125 days. But because we're looking at like days instead of months, the number went up. So it might still be a little confusing to you. Just know that when we're talking about how fast is the real estate market moving, that's how fast the market is moving. How fast it's been moving over the past year, that's how fast it's been moving over the past year. So the past year shows us slowing up a little bit, but the supply, the current, what's happening right now is we're starting to see the speed of the market move a little bit quicker. This is really common, especially for this time of the year. As we are jumping into our spring market, this is the time of year where we start to see the houses move a little. People are wanting to move. Kids are almost ready to, get out of the school year. So the market's starting to pick up right now. And so that is not uncommon. It's very seasonally correct. But what I'll also say to you right now is that argument that we had before that there just weren't enough houses for people to look at, that argument's kind of dead. We've got more active listings right now. In fact, let me go to my little cheat sheet here and I'll tell you. This April comes in with a 3% month-over-month rise. Currently got 26,485 properties. That is the highest total available listings since May of 2014. So the argument that there's just nothing to look at, kind of dead right now. Buyers, you got stuff to look at. Go ahead. It's time to start getting out there and doing this. All right, let's keep going through our factoids. Active days on market. This is not closed days on market. This is how long are the actives actually sitting there. That number went down by a whole whopping day. So again, if you're trying to say like how far out in advance do I need to do something in order to meet this timeline, that again is how fast the market is moving, okay? If you price it right, your closed days on market also are speeding up from 89 days to 84 days. That's a great state of the Arizona real estate market. Okay, so we are starting to speed up. Things are selling. Now, switching over to the other side, price per square foot, that number went down. The active price per square foot right now is averaging $364.31 a square foot. Our sold price per square foot. Notice the delta between the two, but what I want to point out to you about this number is anything that isn't highlighted in yellow is an all-time high. From as long as we've been tracking the Arizona real estate numbers, this is the highest it has ever been. So your sold price per square foot, highest it's ever been, $320.13 a square foot. Our average sold price over the last 30 days, $662,395. Again, all-time record high. Now, I do want to caveat this with just a little bit. We're starting to see the luxury market move a little bit more than we have in the past. So some of these numbers, again, we're talking about averages, they're a little bit skewed because of those luxury properties that are selling, the higher price point properties that are selling. So if you really want to know what's happening, we're going to be looking at the median sold, and not only just the median sold, but the median sold over the last 12 months. So these next few, median sold over the last 30 days, that number went up again to 458,990. And then if we go back down over to the average sold over 12 months, again, another all-time record high at $605,432. But this again is our median sold. This is where the Arizona market has really settled in. We have been here for over a year now, okay? Our median sold over the last 12 months, $450K. $450,000. So if you're wanting to buy a house in Arizona, you are going to be able to find something around the $450,000 price point. All right. There are areas where you can find less expensive houses, and there are areas where you're going to find much, much more expensive houses. But the median is that 450, and Arizona real estate market has settled right in there. We're very comfortable there, and we're probably going to stay there for just a little bit longer. What I'd also like to show you is the fact that we have stayed there for over 12 months now. I have been hearing a lot out in the Arizona real estate conversations in my ears, different people that I'm talking to. The buyers are still saying, we heard that the market's going to crash. And the sellers are still saying, we heard that prices are going back up. Guys, we're pretty much at a stalemate right now. All right. Buyers, the market is not going to crash. There is nothing in these numbers that we're looking at right now that says to me the market's going to crash. We all better, just go run for the hills. We'll prepare for a wave of short sales and foreclosures. None of that. None of that is going to happen. All right. Now, these next few numbers, when we're talking about our appreciation, this is where I'm showing you. We are stuck. We're stale. We're flat. We're da da da. Okay. So over the last 12 months, Arizona as a whole has seen zero appreciation, 0% appreciation. And over the last 30 days, you've only seen a 0.5%. Now, it's a 0.5% in the positive, but you have only seen a 0.5% in appreciation. So let's jump back into just some commentary about what's going on. Active and available listings right now. We did already talk about how we have the highest month over month raise since May of 2014. And so April is actually marking a 13th consecutive month for hitting the most available listings to start the market in 10 plus years. We have the inventory. We have the houses. We have it. Okay. So month over month, we saw a 3.5% increase, and new builds are holding steady at about 14% of our market. So that's great. There's new builds, there's homes if you want to remodel, all the things. Those are all just great. And March delivered our seasonally increasing our listing count about 14%. So in March, we saw 10,950 new listings come to the market. And that is the most listings since March of 2020. The houses are coming, guys. Buyers, the houses are coming. Sellers, you have more competition again. Buyers, that window's closing quickly, the one I've been talking about. If you haven't been listening to me, telling you, jump quick. All right, under contract. April came in with 9,826 properties under contract. That was up a modest 6% month over month and a pretty decent 16% year over year. So this is the most contracts to begin in April since 2022. However, this is still the fourth lowest April since at least 2015. So seasonality thus far is a absolute pure repeat of the last 3 years. We are flat. We are stuck. We are not falling. We are not rising. We have settled in. We're in pretty much a balanced market right now. Okay, let's talk about cancellations. Cancellations and expireds have been a big part of our Phoenix market really since 2025. In 2025, we saw 35,644 listings opt out, either cancel or expired. Now, In quarter one, that same trend is continuing, and we saw 6,820 go off the market. So we're kind of, again, just mirroring the last 3 years. What we're going to be watching for, and this is going to be week number 17th, which of the year, which it typically lands right around this year. It's going to land at April 20th through the 26th. Okay. And what we are going to want to watch is where are our canceled, where are our expired numbers. That's going to give us an indication whether this year is going to diverge over our big selling market from what's happened the last 3 years, or if we're just going to trend exactly the same as we have over the last 3 years. So that is something we're going to be watching. I'll let you know as soon as we hit that, what we find out. And right at the moment, if you look at the two trend lines, this year is like right in between the two. Okay. 25, 24, we're kind of splitting them right now. So it'll be really interesting to see if we take off a little bit or if we don't. And there's a lot happening in the world right now that is playing into that number. And so if things socioeconomically, all, politically, if they all start to settle down a little bit, we could see a great summer. If they continue to be all over the place, we could see a repeat of the past 3 years. All right, let's talk about our closed sales in March. So in March, we actually closed 7,186 properties, and that was make sure I'm reading this right, 22% month over month jump. We saw quite a fair amount of closings in March. And April seems to be setting up fairly similarly. So this was the largest jump for a February into March since 2023. And the most closings since 2023. From 2016 until 2022, March has typically averaged closer to 8,890 units. So we're still under what we typically would like to see, what we expect to see in this time of year, but we're up and we're going to take all of the wins that we can get. All the little wins count. All right, let's talk about who is buying what. Right now, 46% of the buyers in our marketplace are using conventional financing, which is fantastic. 30% of our market is cash, straight cash. About 17% of our market are FHA buyers, 7% are VA buyers, and we had 28 USDA loans close last month. All right, sellers, now I'm talking to you. We are going to talk about how important it is. Now, I have been preaching this for as long as I can remember. I don't know what else I can say. If your agent is telling you something different, I love them. They're wrong. They're absolutely wrong. And they're doing you a disservice. Right now, what is happening is if you are coming out of the gate priced too high, you are losing so much money. So much money. Let me share with you some statistics. And I'm going to read these so I don't get them wrong. Homes that sold within their first 30 days on market sold for 98% of original list price. Okay, first 30 days. They came out, they were priced either aggressively or spot on, and they're in an area where people want to buy. First 30 days, 98% of original list price versus the homes that are sold in 61 to 90 days. Those sold for 95% of their original list price. If you go beyond 90 days, you are looking at even less than that, and you're looking at chasing the market down. Okay, what I'm also going to tell you is our market is very, very area specific right now. Here's just a little demonstrating story for you. One of my partner agents, they have a buyer that is looking out in Gilbert, Arizona right now. They put offers in on 5 different houses, bread and butter houses, nothing really spectacular, but the houses that most people want. Single family, single story, just a great Gilbert house, priced reasonably. 5 offers, 5 bidding wars, 5 they did not win the house. Arizona real estate market is so micro-specific right now that you really, really need an agent that is watching the trends, that knows how to interpret the data, and can really guide you appropriately. Buyers, there are areas that it is a buyer's market, and then there are areas that it is still a seller's market. You need to be aware of what that is, because to walk into a negotiation as a buyer and think, I hold all the cards, you're wrong. You do not hold all the cards in certain areas. In other areas, you do. Now, if you're the kind of buyer that wants to walk in and feel like you're holding all the cards, then you're looking for those houses that have been on the market for at least 90 days. Those guys, they should be a little bit more hungry. They should be a lot more willing to negotiate, and they should be coming to reason at that point. All right, let's talk about the different numbers. So across the Phoenix Metro as a whole, in all of the MLS, all of our supply numbers are going down. And a balanced market in here in Arizona now is about a 3-month supply. Okay, so when we looked at that before, Arizona as a whole is a weak buyer's market. But again, areas right now, price points right now are in different areas. So let me demonstrate this to you. In the Phoenix Metro activity right now, if your property is priced between $0 and $250,000, your month supply is 5.15%. That number went down month over month. However, you are in a buyer's market. Okay. Now, if you are priced between $250K and $400K, yours months of supply is 308. And so now you're in more of a balanced. And we're seeing everything from about 250 all the way up to 800,000 be in that more balanced market. And then we get more into that buyer's market. Now, if we look at East Valley cities alone, if you're priced from 0 to 250K, 5.75 months worth of inventory, you're still in a buyer's market. But you get into 250,000 up to 800,000, and you are at the max 2.92 months worth of supply. You are in a seller's market. A weak seller's market, mind you, but you're in a seller's market. And my story about the Gilbert buyers just is case in point. So again, you drill down even more into the neighborhoods and you're going to find even more specific stories. Okay. Even our luxury market in the East Valley is in a more balanced market. They're sitting at 3.96 and 3.77 months worth of supply. Now, if we run over to the Northeast Valley, we're talking Scottsdale, Paradise Valley, all that kind of stuff. It's either a buyer's market or it is in the 400K to 1 million, you are in a seller's market. So again, know your numbers. Your agents need to know your numbers. You need to understand what's happening out there in the marketplace right now. So as a quick recap for you, I've got some bullet points. Number 1. Inventory is not compounding, it is stabilizing. We are seeing properties turn over. It is great, but there's plenty out there to look at. Number 2, demand is improving. It is not catching fire. Sellers, do not expect you are going to have a runaway seller's market this summer. Probably not going to happen. At best, you're going to have a weak seller's market. Number 3, the market is running a speed-based pricing model. So again, 98% list and sell within that 30 days are getting 98% of their list price. 60 to 90 days, you're getting 89%. And it just goes on from there. All right. So price it right at the beginning, or you're going to be losing money. Number 4, seller fallout is elevated. Yes, we are seeing the properties go off the market. A lot of them are just giving up. They couldn't get the price they wanted. They couldn't get the offer they wanted. And so they're giving up. Maybe they'll try again later. And number 5, rate volatility is risk, not a current disruption. So again, geopolitical pressure, without getting too political on this, it is just one of those things. Iran, oil prices go up, bond rates, it all affects everything and it pushes our interest rates higher. Is it going to stay that way forever? No. Once things cool off, those should settle down. But transactions are still happening. Smart buyers are taking advantage of the moment when they have a little bit less competition. But I do believe that this is a time period that is running out for you. So I want you to watch this. This is not a market stop at this point. It's a consideration. That is all. All right, let's jump really quickly over to our rental market analysis. This is a new thing we've added just over the last few months, so let's make sure that we do this real quick. And we want to thank Quantum Homes and Asia Coleman. She is the one who provided us all this information. She is my partner in property management and rentals, and I appreciate her so very much. So here's what she had to say. Fewer rentals are hitting the market year over year, and tenant activity has started to pick up. That is potentially some good news and early signs that the rental market here in Arizona is starting to stabilize. Inventory declined again this month, and new listings are down 8.8% year over year. signaling a meaningful slowdown in the new supply coming to market. That means renters, there's less for you to choose from. Landlords, kind of good news for you, less competition. And at the same time, our tenant activity continues to improve. So that is helping to bring the average days on market down to about 57 days after peaking at about 64 days. All right. So your active listings right now, we're down 6.5% month over month and up 5.7% year over year. There is less competition out there right now. New listings, we are down 12.1% month over month. So we're not just a little down, we're a lot down. And that could be that people are just being smart. They're keeping the tenants that they currently have, and everybody's just being really happy that nobody's raising rates, okay? Under contract rentals, this went up 4.4% month over month, and our closed rentals went up 1.3% month over month. Now, this is where we've really seen some improvement. Your average days on market from the time you list your rental to the time you've got a tenant in place, that went down last month by 10.9%, almost 11%. That was great. You were still averaging about 57 days. So do take that into consideration when you are having all your conversations about money. But those are the things that are really, really happening. I'm going to leave it there with the rental market analysis, because if you have any questions on that, I want to get you in touch with Asia and have her answer the specifics for you. So as always, we are here to be a resource for you. My name is Katie Evans. I am the owner and lead agent of the Living 48 real estate team here at Real Broker. And it is my honor and privilege to help you and any of those that you know that need assistance and advice in the Arizona real estate market in any way that I can. So as an invitation, please do not hesitate to reach out to me. I'd love to read your comments. I would love to answer your DMs. And if you have not taken the opportunity already, please follow us on social media, as well as subscribe to our YouTube channel for more videos like this one and a lot of other great real estate information. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll catch you on our next video.